Captain Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the UES Intrepid, Earth's newest warship, watching the unfamiliar signatures appear on her tactical display. The ship's quantum sensors had detected something massive emerging from hyperspace, something that definitely wasn't human. "Multiple contacts, Captain," Lieutenant Rivera announced from his station, his voice tense but controlled. "Energy signatures unlike anything in our database. They're big, really big." The Intrepid had been conducting its maiden patrol of the Epsilon Eridani colony when the unknown vessels appeared. Humanity had only recently mastered faster-than-light travel, and this was their first contact with an alien civilization. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be peaceful. The alien vessels opened fire without warning or attempt at communication. Their weapons were unlike anything humanity had encountered. Beams of pure gravitational force that could tear a ship apart at the molecular level. But Captain Chen didn't panic. The Intrepid was humanity's latest achievement, built with contingencies for the unknown. "Deploy countermeasures," she ordered. "Activate the electromagnetic dispersal field." The alien weapons struck the Intrepid's unique defenses, not the standard energy shields they had likely expected, but a complex web of electromagnetic fields that disrupted the coherence of their gravity weapons. It wasn't perfect protection, but it bought them precious time. "They're adjusting their attack pattern," Rivera reported. "Their formation is perfect, too perfect, almost like they're running on pure mathematics." Chen smiled grimly. "That's their weakness. Lieutenant, activate our randomized trajectory algorithm. Let's show them why humans still rely on instinct." The Intrepid's engines fired in seemingly chaotic patterns, the result of a unique human innovation. Combat algorithms based on chaos theory and human unpredictability rather than pure efficiency. The alien vessels, despite their superior technology, struggled to track the erratic movements. "We're being hailed," Communications Officer Park announced. "They're transmitting in multiple frequencies. Wait, our AI is decoding it." A harsh, mechanical voice filled the bridge. "Inferior species, you have encountered the Nexeri Empire. Your resistance is illogical. Submit to examination and categorization." Chen's response was to target the nearest Nexeri vessel with the Intrepid's main weapon, a railgun that accelerated projectiles to near relativistic speeds, using principles the aliens clearly hadn't considered. Their gravity-based shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, proved ineffective against good old-fashioned kinetic impact. The alien ship's hull cracked like an egg, its perfect symmetry shattered by human ingenuity. The remaining vessels adjusted their formation, but their movements remained predictable, bound by whatever rigid tactical protocols they followed. "They're calling for reinforcements," Park warned. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected." "Good," Chen replied, surprising her crew. "Send a priority message to command. Tell them we've made first contact, and we've learned something crucial. These Nexeri might have advanced technology, but they lack human adaptability. And that's going to cost them." The battle continued for hours, the Intrepid dancing through space like a boxer in the ring, taking hits but delivering devastating counterstrikes. The Nexeri's perfect formations and mathematical precision proved to be their greatest weakness against human unpredictability and innovative thinking. When the dust settled, 3 Nexeri vessels had been destroyed, 2 had retreated with significant damage, and the Intrepid, while battered, remained operational. More importantly, humanity had proven itself capable of standing against advanced alien civilizations. As Chen recorded her after-action report, she couldn't help but smile. The Nexeri had expected to find primitive beings worthy only of study and categorization. Instead, they'd encountered humanity at its finest, resourceful, determined, and absolutely unwilling to submit to tyranny, regardless of its technological level. "Send a message to all Earth colonies," she ordered. "The galaxy isn't empty, and not everything out there is friendly. But humanity is ready. We've faced our first test against an alien empire, and we've shown them something they clearly didn't expect. Humans don't follow the rules of engagement. We make our own. The Intrepid limped home to spread the word, its hull bearing the scars of humanity's first interstellar battle. The Nexeri Empire had made a crucial mistake. They had judged humanity by their technology level alone, never considering that sometimes the most primitive solution, applied creatively, could overcome the most advanced defenses. The war had begun, but humanity had drawn first blood. And Captain Sarah Chen knew this was just the beginning of a conflict that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what humans were capable of. 3 weeks after humanity's first encounter with the Nexeri Empire, Captain Sarah Chen found herself in a situation that would have seemed impossible a month ago, teaching alien combat tactics to Earth's combined fleet commanders. The Nexeri aren't just predictable, she explained, gesturing to the holographic battle footage from the Intrepid's first engagement. They're fundamentally incapable of deviation from their core protocols. Every ship in their fleet functions like a component in a single massive computer. Admiral Hassan leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the tactical display. And you believe this is exploitable? More than exploitable, Chen replied. It's their critical weakness. The Nexeri evolved from a hive mind species. They don't just coordinate, they think as one, which means they have no concept of individual tactical initiative. The revelation had come from Earth's xenobiologists studying the wreckage of the destroyed Nexeri vessels. Their ships weren't just crewed by aliens, they were integrated with them. Biological and mechanical systems merged into a unified whole. We've developed new combat protocols, Chen continued, pulling up schematics of modified Earth vessels. Every ship in the fleet is being equipped with what we're calling chaos drives, modified engines that can execute random vector changes faster than the Nexeri can predict. Lieutenant Rivera, who had transferred to Fleet Tactical Command, stepped forward. We've also reverse-engineered aspects of their gravity weapons, not to copy them. That would be pointless. Instead, we're developing countermeasures based on their own technology's weaknesses. The briefing room erupted in discussion as fleet commanders debated the implications. The Nexeri had attacked 3 more human colonies in the past week, each time with larger forces. But each engagement had provided more data, more understanding of their limitations. The key, Chen emphasized, is to abandon conventional military doctrine. The Nexeri expect us to either be primitive savages or to attempt copying their superior technology. They cannot comprehend a species choosing to remain tactically unpredictable. Speaking of unpredictable, Admiral Hassan interjected, "Tell them about Project Trojan." Chen's expression turned serious as she activated a secure holographic channel. The image showed a modified cargo vessel, its holds filled not with goods but with a revolutionary new weapon system. The Nexeri's gravity weapons work by creating localized distortions in spacetime, she explained. They expect enemies to try to resist or deflect these distortions. Instead, we're going to amplify them. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. It was exactly the kind of insane strategy that made humans unique, taking an enemy's strength and turning it against them in ways they couldn't predict. We've confirmed the Nexeri are planning a major assault on the Proxima Centauri colony, Rivera reported. Their fleet movements follow the same mathematical patterns as before. They're gathering their forces with perfect precision. Perfect precision, Chen repeated with a grim smile, means perfect predictability. We'll be ready for them, not with superior numbers or technology, but with something they can't quantify, human ingenuity. The next day, as the massive Nexeri fleet emerged from hyperspace near Proxima Centauri, they encountered something their collective consciousness couldn't process, a human fleet that didn't behave like any military force they had encountered in their 1,000-year history. Earth ships darted through space in chaotic patterns, their movements guided by algorithms based on everything from weather patterns to crowd behavior. The Nexeri's gravity weapons fired with mathematical precision, but hit empty space as human vessels seemed to anticipate their attacks through sheer randomness. Then came Project Trojan. The modified cargo vessels, appearing vulnerable, drew the Nexary's strongest attacks. But instead of being torn apart, they absorbed the gravitational energy, channeled it through experimental systems, and reflected it back amplified 100-fold. The effect was catastrophic. The Nexary's perfectly coordinated fleet became their own worst enemy, their gravity weapons creating a cascading series of distortions that ripped their formation apart. "They're retreating," Rivera announced from the Intrepid's tactical station. "Their hive mind can't process what's happening. They're actually retreating." Chen watched as the mighty Nexary fleet fled in disarray, their perfect coordination shattered by human unpredictability. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "Tell them the Proxima defense was successful. And tell them we're ready to take this fight to the enemy." As the adrenaline of battle faded, Chen reflected on how quickly humanity had adapted to face this existential threat. The Nexary had expected to find easy prey. Instead, they had awakened humanity's greatest strength, the ability to turn apparent weakness into unexpected advantage. The next phase of the war would begin soon. But now, humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting to prove that in a galaxy of rigid order, there was still room for creative chaos. The UES Intrepid drifted silently in the shadow of a gas giant, its modified sensors tracking an unusual energy signature. Captain Sarah Chen hadn't expected to find another spacefaring civilization while hunting Nexary supply lines, but the ship they were observing definitely wasn't Nexary. "Analysis complete," Lieutenant Rivera reported. "The vessel appears to be damaged. Design is completely unknown, but it's clearly running from something. And Captain, it's asking for help in over 1,000 different languages, including English." Chen asked, surprised. "No, none of them are human languages, but the intent is clear. They're desperate." Before Chen could respond, space itself seemed to tear open as 3 Nexary warships emerged from hyperspace, their gravity weapons already charging. The unknown vessel's engines flared weakly as it tried to escape. "Well," Chen straightened in her command chair, "looks like we're about to make some new friends." Battle stations. The Intrepid burst from its hiding place, chaos drives engaging as it launched a barrage of modified kinetic weapons. The Nexary, caught off guard by the human ship's sudden appearance, scattered their perfect formation. "Direct hit on the lead vessel," Rivera called out. "Their shields are adapting, but slower than usual. Something about that other ship is interfering with their systems." The unknown vessel, seemingly realizing it had found an ally, turned to face its pursuers. Its hull shimmered with waves of crystalline energy that pulsed in patterns Chen had never seen before. "They're hailing us," Communications Officer Park announced. "Converting signal now." A voice like chiming bells filled the bridge. "Defenders against the harmony, we thank you. We are the Lissari, and we bring warning. The ones you fight are more dangerous than you know." Chen didn't have time to digest this as the Nexary launched another attack. But something had changed. The Lissari vessel was synchronizing its crystalline energy pulses with the Intrepid's chaos drives, creating interference patterns that made both ships nearly impossible to target. "Their technology," Rivera breathed. "It's like they're turning space itself into music." Working together, the human and Lissari ships drove off the Nexary attackers. As the last enemy vessel retreated, the Lissari ship's crystal hull pulsed with colors Chen suspected represented emotion. Hours later, in the Intrepid's conference room, Chen sat across from a being that looked like living crystal and light. The Lissari ambassador, who called herself Song of Morning Light, explained their situation. "We are refugees," the crystalline being chimed. "The Nexary's rigid harmony seeks to consume all patterns of existence. They have destroyed 12 civilizations in their quest for perfect order. But you fight differently." Chen nodded. "We've learned that their perfect coordination is actually a weakness. They can't handle unpredictability." "Yes," Song of Morning Light's form sparkled with excitement. "This is why we sought you out. Our long-range sensors detected your battles. You fight like the universe itself, not with order, but with beautiful chaos. The Lizari weren't alone. Their ship carried representatives from other species who had fled Nexuri expansion. Each brought different technologies, different ways of thinking that had been deemed incompatible with the Nexuri's vision of universal harmony. "We propose an alliance," Song of Morning Light announced. "Our crystalline technology can enhance your chaos drives. The Meridian's phase shift capabilities can improve your stealth systems. The Vorth understand gravity as an art form. They can help you better counter Nexuri weapons." Chen studied the tactical implications, and in return, "Teach us to fight as you do." The Nexuri believe that superior technology and perfect coordination guarantee victory. Show us how humanity proves them wrong. Over the next few days, the Intrepid became a crucible of innovation. Lizari crystal matrices were integrated into human chaos drives, creating unpredictability on both the physical and quantum levels. Vorth gravity artists helped modify human kinetic weapons to tear holes in spacetime itself. But more importantly, these alien refugees learned something from humanity, that imperfection could be a strength, that chaos could overcome order, and that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't technology, but adaptability. "The Nexuri are gathering their largest fleet yet," Rivera reported during a joint tactical briefing. "They've detected our alliance. Their collective consciousness considers us an affront to their version of universal harmony." "Good," Chen replied, watching as human and alien crews worked together on the bridge. "Let them come. They want harmony. We'll show them a symphony of chaos they'll never forget." Song of Morning Light chimed in agreement. They believe themselves to be the ultimate evolution of life in this galaxy, but they forgot something crucial. Evolution requires variation, requires chaos to create new forms. As the combined fleet prepared for the coming battle, Chen realized they had achieved something the Nexuri would never understand. True strength didn't come from perfect coordination or superior technology. It came from embracing differences, from combining seemingly incompatible approaches into something entirely new. The war was about to enter a new phase, and the Nexuri were about to learn that their quest for perfect harmony had united the very forces of chaos they sought to eliminate. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the combined fleet's war room, surrounded by holographic displays showing the Nexuri Empire's territory. Around her, human officers worked alongside their alien counterparts, each bringing their unique perspective to the coming offensive. "The Nexuri's fundamental weakness," Chen explained, gesturing to a tactical overlay, "is their inability to process multiple contradictory threats simultaneously. Their hive mind requires consensus to act." Song of Morning Light's crystalline form pulsed in agreement. Their harmony is their strength, but also their limitation. They cannot comprehend discord, cannot adapt to it. The plan they had developed was audacious, combining human unpredictability with Lizari crystalline technology, Meridian phase shifting, and Vorth gravity manipulation. It wasn't just a military strategy. It was a symphony of chaos designed to overwhelm the Nexuri's rigid order. First wave in position, Lieutenant Rivera reported from his station. "Meridian phase shifters are operating at full capacity. The Nexuri's sensor networks aren't detecting our approach." The combined fleet had split into 3 groups. The first, led by the Intrepid, would strike at the Nexuri's primary communication hub. The second, commanded by Song of Morning Light, would target their supply lines. The third, a mix of human and Vorth ships, would create gravitational disturbances throughout Nexuri space. "Remember," Chen addressed the fleet, "we're not trying to match their coordination. We're going to show them that chaos isn't just random destruction. It's the force that drives evolution itself." The attack began with a precision that would have made the Nexuri proud, but quickly evolved into something they could never comprehend. Human ships equipped with Lizari crystals performed maneuvers that defied physics, their chaos drives creating patterns that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. "Nexuri fleet responding exactly as predicted," Rivera announced. "They're attempting to establish a standard containment formation." Chen smiled. "Execute Discord protocol." Across Nexari space, Vorth gravity artists began their work. Space itself buckled and warped, creating corridors of distorted reality that the Nexari's mathematical models couldn't process. Their perfect formations broke apart as ships struggled to navigate the shifting gravitational landscape. Their communication hub is vulnerable, Park reported, but they're adapting faster than expected. The hive mind is learning. Good, Chen replied, surprising her crew. That's exactly what we wanted. Signal the Lissari fleet. Begin Phase 2. Song of Morning Light's forces emerged from phase shift, their crystalline hulls broadcasting quantum frequencies that interacted with the Nexari's neural network in ways their collective consciousness couldn't filter out. It wasn't an attack on their ships, but on the very way they processed reality. The Nexari's response was predictably perfect, and perfectly wrong. Their attempts to block the quantum interference created patterns that the human ship's chaos drives could exploit. Each perfect defense opened new vulnerabilities that hadn't existed before. Multiple Nexari command nodes going offline, Rivera reported, excitement creeping into his voice. Their fleet coordination is fragmenting. Individual ships are beginning to act independently. They're experiencing individuality for the first time in their species' history. Song of Morning Light chimed. Their harmony is becoming dissonant. The battle raged across multiple star systems as the combined fleet pressed their advantage. Human ingenuity merged with alien technology in ways that created not just chaos, but a new kind of order, one born from the strength of diversity rather than the limitation of uniformity. Nexari forces are retreating from the outer sectors, Park announced. Their command structure is showing signs of massive stress. The hive mind can't maintain coherence. Chen watched as the tactical displays showed Nexari ships breaking formation, some fleeing, others simply stopping as their crews struggled with concepts they had never experienced before. Doubt, uncertainty, individual choice. We're not just winning battles, she realized aloud. We're forcing them to evolve. Their perfect harmony can't survive contact with real diversity. The Intrepid's sensors detected something new. Signals coming from within Nexari territory. Some of their ships weren't just breaking formation. They were actively rejecting the hive mind's control. The very chaos the Nexari had sought to eliminate was emerging from within their own ranks. Captain, Rivera called out, we're receiving transmission from multiple Nexari vessels. They're requesting asylum. Their crews are beginning to assert individual consciousness. Song of Morning Light's crystalline form resonated with what seemed like joy. This is more than victory. It's transformation. The rigid harmony is breaking, but something new is being born. Chen nodded, understanding the implications. They hadn't just developed a military strategy. They had introduced an idea that was anathema to the Nexari's entire existence. The idea that strength could come from difference, that adaptation required chaos, and that true harmony wasn't about enforcing order, but about finding balance between order and chaos. Send word to all fleet elements, she ordered. Press the advantage, but prioritize protection for any Nexari ships that break from the hive mind. We're not just fighting an empire anymore. We're midwifing the birth of a new civilization. The counter-offensive had succeeded beyond their wildest expectations, not by destroying the Nexari, but by introducing them to concepts their rigid harmony could never have discovered on its own. The real question now was what would emerge from the chaos they had unleashed. The UES Intrepid's bridge was eerily quiet as Captain Sarah Chen studied the tactical display showing the Nexari homeworld. After months of fighting, they had pushed the Empire back to its origin point, but the cost of victory might be higher than anyone had anticipated. Status of the breakaway Nexari vessels, Chen asked, watching the combined fleet's formation. Holding position with the Lissari contingent, Rivera reported. The former hive mind members are still struggling with individual consciousness, but they're adapting. Some are even starting to show creativity in their tactical suggestions. Song of Morning Light's crystalline form pulsed with concern beside Chen. The core world's defense grid is unlike anything we've encountered. The remaining loyal Nexeri have concentrated their entire consciousness into a single defensive network. The displays showed the truth of this assessment. The Nexeri homeworld bristled with gravity weapons on a scale that could tear apart whole fleets. Their remaining ships had merged into massive geometric structures that defied conventional physics. They're not just fighting us anymore, Chen realized. They're trying to preserve their way of life, their perfect harmony. Message from the Nexeri core consciousness, Park announced. Text only. Chaos brings only destruction. Order must prevail. Submit or be unmade. Chen shook her head. They still don't understand. Harmony without chaos isn't perfection. It's stagnation. She turned to her assembled human and alien crew. Time for our final movement in this symphony. The plan they had developed was either brilliant or suicidal, possibly both. Human chaos drives merge with Lissari quantum crystals would create a cascade of reality distortions. Vorth gravity artists would shake these distortions using techniques that blended science and intuition. The Meridian's phase shift technology would allow their ships to exist in multiple states simultaneously. All ships, execute final Discord protocol, Chen ordered. Remember, our goal isn't destruction. It's transformation. The battle that followed defied description in any single language. Human ships performed maneuvers that should have been impossible, their chaos drives creating patterns that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Lissari vessels transmitted crystalline frequencies that resonated with the fabric of space-time itself. Vorth gravity artists turned the Nexeri's own weapons into gateways for change. Their outer defenses are adapting, Rivera warned. The hive mind is trying to predict our patterns. Good, Chen replied. Because we're not following any. Each ship is improvising, creating their own harmony within the chaos. The Nexeri's response was massive and perfectly coordinated, and that was their mistake. Their weapons fired in mathematically precise patterns, trying to impose order on the seemingly random movements of the Allied fleet. But there was deep structure in the apparent chaos, a harmony they couldn't comprehend. Multiple quantum breaches detected, Park called out. The Nexeri defense grid is singing. Song of morning light's form brightened. The frequencies we're generating are resonating with their base consciousness. They cannot maintain perfect harmony in the face of infinite possibility. The massive Nexeri defensive structures began to shift and change. Their perfect geometric patterns fractured, not into disorder, but into new forms of order, patterns that incorporated both stability and change. They're evolving, Chen realized. Not because we forced them to, but because we showed them it was possible. The final moments of the battle weren't marked by destruction, but by transformation. The Nexeri core consciousness, faced with undeniable proof that adaptation required chaos, began to fragment not into discord, but into a new kind of harmony, one that preserved unity while embracing diversity. Multiple signatures breaking away from the core consciousness, Rivera reported, his voice filled with wonder. They're becoming individuals while maintaining their connections. It's like watching a new form of life emerge. The Nexeri homeworld's defenses powered down as their civilization underwent its greatest change in millennia. The rigid harmony that had driven them to expand and consume was being replaced by something new. A dynamic balance between order and chaos, unity and individuality. Hours later, Chen stood in the Intrepid's observation deck with Song of Morning Light and representatives from both the allied species and the transformed Nexeri. The view showed not a conquered world, but one being reborn. We came seeking victory, Chen mused, but found something more important. We proved that true strength doesn't come from enforcing order or embracing chaos, but from finding harmony between them. An Nexeri representative, its form still geometric, but now shifting with subtle variations, spoke in a voice that was both individual and collective. We sought to perfect the universe by eliminating chaos. You showed us that perfection isn't the absence of chaos, but the ability to grow through it. Song of morning light chimes softly, and so a new movement begins in the cosmic symphony. As the Intrepid prepared to return home, Shen reflected on humanity's role in the galaxy. They hadn't just won a war, they had helped birth a new way of thinking about existence itself. Their primitive approach had shown advanced civilizations that progress wasn't a straight line toward perfect order, but a dance between chaos and harmony. The stars seemed brighter somehow, as if acknowledging that the galaxy had become a more interesting place. Not perfect, not completely orderly, but alive with the endless possibilities that come from embracing both chaos and order, unity and diversity, tradition and change. The war was over, but the real adventure was just beginning.